Hello, my name's Chris Allen, and this is the Chris Allen MMA Show. Today, I'm being joined by, well, one of Ireland and Portugal's most basically up-and-coming fighters. Well, up-and-coming is the wrong word to say, I think, Pedro. I think you've made it now. He's going to be taking on Patricio Pitbull for the featherweight title, and, man, he's one of the best in the division. It's Mr. Pedro Carvalho. How you doing, sir?
How's it going? Thank you for having me again.
No problem. Sorry for the bit of the mix-up of the introduction, but I had to correct myself halfway, saying up-and-comer. He's not an up-and-comer. He's there now.
Yes, almost at the very top, almost.
But, well, God, you deserve it, mate. You really do deserve it. I've watched you for a little while now, and since you come to the UK and stuff, you've been on an absolute tear over here. And Bellator, undefeated in Bellator, 4-0. Is it 4-0 in Bellator? I think you are now.
4-0, I know about that. Yeah.
I mean, what a great opportunity coming up. Obviously, I know you spoke about it a lot, but what I want to ask you is I've heard you speak a lot of the time how people keep underestimating me. I am the best featherweight in division. Like, how much of a fantastic opportunity is this now to take on such a legend in that division, mate, to prove exactly what you've been saying?
Like I said before, like I'm really happy. Of course, I'm happy because I'm fighting for a world belt, and that's a big thing. But the main thing that makes me really happy, it's the name itself, because like I said, I believe that I'm the best in the world, and I just want to prove it. And man, inside Bellator, there's no better guy to prove that than Patricio. Is the bigger face in the company. Is the guy with the most accomplishments inside of it. So going out there, make him look that he is not at my level. That will just prove what I've been said, So I'm really happy and excited. I'm sad that it got postponed, because I was really excited to face him. Beside all the field, the trash talk, and the world belt on the line. Beside all that, only the fact that square off with them, that was making me like really excited, and I'm still excited. And 100%. What makes me the most excited about this one is having his head on my trophy list. That's for sure.
That's definitely a good one to add to your continuously growing resume of fighters you're beating at the moment. And let's not forget, man, you've finished 7 of your fights in the first round. And what amazes me, man, is you're 14 fights in and you're only 25, 24 now, aren't you?
24. I'm 1 month and a half away from 25.
And you've had 14 professional fights, which is absolutely outstanding. What did you do? Start when you were 16 or something like that?
Hey, and believe me, I could have more because I had a huge layoff between 15 and 17. That was when I did my transition to Ireland. That was I spent 1 year working, and then another one doing the transition, and I spent like 10 months in Ireland till I have my first fight. So I was 2 years without fighting, and for me, like, the ideal is fighting at least 3 times a year. That will be a perfect world for me, 3-4 times a year. And I always try to keep that number. So that's pretty it, I'm, like I've said before, I'm only getting started. I'm only getting better, and everything people see, everything people watch from me, that's nothing compared for what I want to bring and what I will bring. And every time, every day when I go to the gym, I try to get there half percentage better, and I'm always looking for better, and I'm never happy with myself. So, and I like to fight, so that's the best resume I can do. I'm at this sport because I love to fight. I love to compete. I love to brawl. I love the blood, the sweat, and everything. That's my life. So I want to be there the most times that I can. But of course, keep the safest possible. Like I want to have a future after MMA. So
yeah, of course. Well, you keep finishing those fights as quick as you do, then I'm sure you'll have a long.
That's the plan. Go in and go out.
That's the way to do it. I think, in Bellator, you've seen a couple of decisions, but mainly, it's all been finishes. First round, your last fight was obviously in the second round finish. Probably felt a bit strange, didn't it, going to the second round, your last fight? What's this?
Well, actually was the first from forgetting the three decisions that I have. That was the only fight that passed the first round. All my finish was on the first, but going to that fight, I was counting on the second round finish, because my plan was, I knew that my cardio and my condition was like way better than Sam. He has the power in his favor, but I knew that I have the conditioning and the cardio. So I knew that, and he's an experienced guy, he's a veteran. So I knew that I just want to be patient and not make silly mistakes on the first round. So I just let him work on the first round, and by the end of the first round, when the bell rung and we have to go to each corner, I knew that I already had him. So, and then on the second round, I just picked my shots, but yeah, but that's the plan. Go in there and finish
Yeah.
everyone.
Well, that first round, you were super close to getting that neck crank on him anyway. It looked like a nasty angle. I thought you were going to go for I thought you were going to go for the mounted guillotine, but the way his head was, I was like, oh man, And fair play to him. That's the veterans though, isn't it? These veterans have been in these positions a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can tell you, why it was tight, and that's one of my weapons. People from my team know, but of course in the fights we don't have that amount of times to show. But I can choke a guy from with a crank or guillotine, whatever, from pretty much every single angle that exists. Trust me, from the weirdest ones, and it's a submission that I have confidence on, and it was on. It was tight, and he did a really good job to keep his composure and
Well, you got the arm in.
fight the weight up.
You got the arm in, and you started pulling up on the wrist, and I was thinking, well, this has got to be it now. Like, how's this guy still alive? But he moved.
So,
I think he literally bench pressed you, I think, or something into side control. I can't remember exactly.
I remember the transition, because it's like it started with arm in, and then I mounted. And when I mounted, I switched. I took the arm out. I got in, and it was like fully locked on the head. And then when I went high elbow to put pressure in the choke, there was when I felt him that it was like, oh, I need to get in. I need to get out. I was feeling that it was about to tap, and he did a good job. And it was like kind of my mistake. I should posture a little bit better with the knees, but he did a really good job of making a scramble. And yeah, he used both hands in one knee, and he got out.
Oh well, you definitely learnt your lesson within rounds in that one, because you got into the second round and you beat him with a face crank instead of a neck crank. So
yeah, that was good.
And he tapped quite. No disrespect to Sam, he's a fantastic tough guy, but he tapped quite quickly. So that squeeze, it must have been tight.
Yeah, it was like, to be honest, it was tight, and I love cranks, because people, most of the guys at this level, they are pretty good at defending, and man, in SVG, people don't imagine the high level jiu-jitsu that people are there. So it's really rare to get someone like clean on the neck. Most of people are always protecting. So I'm always using the crank, twisting the chin, getting like real dirty style, and it works, and I'm used to that, and I knew that, and I could feel that I was putting a lot of power, but at the same time, I knew that he didn't want to be there anymore, and you can see on the way that he shoots the takedown, that he wasn't like with that big of attention. Like I didn't need to really struggle to scramble him, and and you can see on his reaction when I was in his back, he was pretty much just waiting for me to finish him, and he didn't want to be there, and I don't criticize him, because that's what I do, that's what I've been saying all this time, and people just say that people maybe they think that I just say this for the cameras, but it isn't. I break people. That's when I go inside of the cage. Before I look for a finish, I first look for breaking people mentally. That's what gives me really pleasure in a fight. It's the guy is still awake, is not like finished in a result, but psychologically is gone. That's what gives me bigger pleasure than a submission or a knockout. And I saw the same reaction, the same look in the eyes of Sam. I saw in all my previous opponents, all of them. like all of them before I finished them or went to decision. I saw on their eyes that they didn't want to be there anymore. And I keep saying this. I break people's mentally, and people don't understand. But people when they get locked inside of the cage, they start to understand. But by the time they understand that it's too late, and they are minutes away to be finished. So that's pretty it. Like going back to your first question, that's what excites me the most to face Patrice. One of the best all time, and having the chance to go out there and break a guy like him with such a history in the sport, and go out there and break him mentally before I finish him. That just leaves me like super excited, to go out there and perform. So that's it.
I swear, and tell you what, I'd be broken if I took one of those body kicks as well that we see you throw quite regularly. You know what I mean? No wonder they can't last very long. The one kick is like that's one round less they can do. Another kick, another round less. Like obviously, Sam Sinio, it's fair to him, he took a couple pretty hard, but obviously Campos took one or two, but that was enough really, wasn't it? To be fair, and it's good to show that on the feet and on your back, not so on your back, so on the feet and on the ground and on your back. To be fair, you're solid. Like. Not taking anything away from you. In your last two fights, you did end up on your back at least once, and you weren't there for long at all. You either reversed and got on top of them. Sam Sille, as you said, with his takedowns in the first round, were completely different to the second round, and maybe that's just wanting to avoid those kicks. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, like to be honest, I'm from that fight. That was pretty much one of the fewest things I was happy about my performance was the fact that going to the second round, I was able to see what I was doing wrong, and what I was doing wrong in the first round was as I just told you, I'm really good with my guillotine, and I had like a flying guillotine win. Was actually was my second Bellator fight. I got the flying guillotine choke. And if you rewatch my fight with Sam on the first round, the two takedowns that he landed was because when he shoot the takedown, I, instead of sprawl him, that what I should do, I just tried to choke him with a flying guillotine and end up with no choke and with my back on the mat. And going to the second round, I identified immediately what I was doing wrong, and I was just like, I had to stop this. I have to start, sprawling and actually, stop with this bullshit thing, because if you try once and it doesn't work, don't try again. I tried twice, so I was like, hey, stop, okay? So going to the second, when I saw him shooting the takedown, I was like, no, not gonna happen, So I just sprawl, and that's when I scrambled and got the finish, So that was one of the fewest things that I actually got happy from that performance was the fact that I saw the mistake on the first round.
And also, you finished him on the ground as well. And also, you've got to remember, Sam is a fantastic wrestler. He teaches wrestling at high schools, and I think they've even won championships where he teaches. He's building his own gym. Like, this guy's one of these serious wrestlers, from the States, and you managed to control him on the floor. I think that must be like a good achievement against someone like him to be able to control him on the floor as you did.
To be honest, I don't look at that like I've said. I believe that I'm the best. I trained to be the best, so I just did what I should have done. That's it. Go out there, dominate my opponents, and prove that I'm the best. That's what the best in the world does. If it's to strike against the best strikers, he outstrike them. And if it's to grapple against the best grapples, he outgrab them. That's what I look to do. Of course, we always set up a game plan to explore my strengths against my opponent's weakness. But I always like the idea to face my opponent on his strengths. Is this guy good at grappling? Okay, let's go, let's grapple, let's wrestle. Is this guy a great striker? Okay, let's see who's the first shooting a takedown. And I've been fighting like that my whole life, and like I said, these are details that the cameras or people when they are studying, it's hard to see, because it's a mental aspect, and you cannot see that. And like I said, that's a major fact. There's a huge difference between seeing me fight and being there in front of me, And when you have a guy that is exploring your strengths and make you look bad on your own strengths, then if your strengths are not working, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the big thing, that and that's where the beginning of the end starts for them. And that's, I just like them. And yeah, like the answer to your question, like I always look for that. I don't care if the guy is a black belt or this on there. I'll go out there and I'm gonna dominate them, no matter where, no matter what's gonna happen.
Love,
That's
man. You
what I
definitely.
that's what I work for.
Exactly, and you definitely went to the right gym with that mentality, because that's what
Yes.
SBG is all about. It's like, right, that good's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, right? We're going to submit him in this fight. This guy's a
Yeah.
Golden Glove champion, but we're going to knock him out in this fight. And you
And
see it
and,
from a lot of your teammates.
and people don't really don't realize that the high level jiu-jitsu that we have in the gym. Like I remember when I moved to Ireland, I was rolling with white belts, blue belts, that I was like, what the fuck, and still today that I'm aware of everything, man. You see blue belts and purple belts, like with such a high level, and you see like black belts coming from black and brown belts coming from other places to the gym, and you see these guys with blue belts and purple belts, like joking with them, like the level in the SVG of jiu-jitsu is really high. And that's also, the main reason is John. John, he's just, there's a reason why he's the best. And I'm saying he's the best in the game. And that's one of the facts. He doesn't give you a higher, like, if you see that you don't deserve it, doesn't matter the amount of time that you have with that color of belt. If he sees that you are not at the level, you keep. I saw so many guys in the gym, like, spending years and years, like, as purple belts, blue belts, and but the fact is, when these guys go compete against the same guys on their belts on other places, you see like a huge difference, like unfair difference,
Yeah.
and that's also a reason why my ground game got so much better, and the MMA grappling level overall.
Yeah, it's a fantastic gym in there. Cavan has done amazing things with everyone in there, and as I said, you're right with the level of ground game in there as well. I've spoken to a lot of the fighters at SPG before, and they turn around and say, I'm a blue belt and I work my ass off, and that guy's been doing it for 3 years and he's a blue belt. What? Wait a minute, Then obviously he goes and faces the blue belt, and it's like a whole different ball game, and that's what Cavan is good at. He doesn't just hand them out like they're going out of fashion. You have to
Yeah.
earn that, don't you?
Oh, 100%. And the thing that I like the most, and that's like, I remember to have this conversation before I joined SPG. That was one of the reasons why we picked Ireland and SPG, was actually, like, my girlfriend asked, like, we were talking about Connor, and she thought that at the time we were thinking about moving. There was the time that we were thinking about moving, and she thought that Connor was living in America and training in America. I was like, no, he's still in the same gym and living in
Yep.
Dublin. And she asked, oh, what's the gym? I said, SVG. And she asked me what I thought. And I thought, like, it's the best place to be in Europe and in the world. And she asked me, why do I think that? Like, what's the main reason to me to think that? And I said, like, my first thing was John, because I always really identify with John way of approaching the sport, his
Yeah.
view, his vision, and everything. And one of the things that I like the most is, like, he is not stick with that tradition thing. Like, of course, he has a tradition, he has the graduation, and there you have to go. But if he have to give you a blue belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, like, because he see that you deserve, he's not gonna wait a whole, like, if he's close, imagine he's planning in doing a graduation next month, maybe you wait a month. But if he sees that if he sees that you deserve, he'll give it to you. That's how I remember, that's how I got my blue and purple belt. He gave to me
Nice.
because because of jiu-jitsu, I'm a bad student in jiu-jitsu, not bad at jiu-jitsu. I just, like, I should do more gi classes, and I missed the graduation. So, but that's how I gave. Just he doesn't get stick with that old mentality thing is like
Yeah.
is old fashioned, but at the same time, he doesn't say stick with it, and that's what I like about him.
Man, that's it. You've got to have someone like that in your corner, otherwise you're going to think you're the champion and you're not. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So, and I said you're definitely doing fantastic things, mate. Obviously, and it's definitely come from a good gym. So obviously, you said a few things why you moved to Ireland. You know why you chose that place to go to train. But what initially made you want to move away from Portugal? I'm sure obviously your family and stuff there. Like, what made you want to move away from Portugal? Like initially, like, is it just to continue growing your martial arts game? Was that the main reason?
Yeah, so the idea started when I had my last defeat. This was back in 2015, and when I had my last defeat, I was two fight defeats in a row. So and at the time I was 5-3. So for a guy that says that he wants to be the best in the world, he wants to prove that he's the best in the world, and be in the best stages, the scenario for me was pretty bad. You know, being 5-3, the things wasn't that, and besides, like nothing was really happening in Portugal because the fight scene, especially in MMA, it's still like in a really base situation,
Yeah.
and then that thing with John Carvalho death happened. So you know, at that stage we just like we need to do something if I want to really exceed the level that I want, if I really want to be the best, and exceed everything that I said that I would exceed,
Hmm.
we need to move. And
Yeah.
that was the first point from this whole idea. And of course, but at the first we didn't know where to go, so we started to make plans, and and Ireland really came just because of my girlfriend. We were talking, and because she didn't know that Connor was in Ireland, we didn't start the conversation. Because we started the conversation, we just like, where, and I was like, yeah, why I didn't straight away think like that, because we tend to complicate. Because I remember she told me, like, if you want to be the best, why you just don't train with the best? And I was like, yeah, she damn right. Why I'm complicate all of this? Why I just don't make it simple, you know? And yeah, and that was the beginning of everything. And then I spent a year working in a factory, and it was tough year, but it had to be done. I needed money to make the move.
Hmm.
And I stopped training to work full time in that factory. And then we the first problem was we didn't know nothing about Ireland. We didn't know no one in Ireland, and nothing. Ireland was zero for us. So we scheduled in November 2016. We scheduled 1 week flight to go to Ireland, to know Dublin,
Yeah.
to look for a job and look for a place to stay, and of course to present myself to the team, and say, John, what my plans are. And by the end of the week, we didn't have job, we didn't have house, we didn't have nothing. So all our plans were just down to the toilet, just down, So I remember we were coming back to Portugal, like really disappointed, and suddenly we just came with both with the same idea. The first thing we do when we arrive in Portugal is book a one-way ticket to Ireland, and when you arrive there, we arrive. That's it. There's no way back, and that's how we did.
Nice, man. I love it, mate. I love it. And do you know what's nice to hear? You've got such fantastic support from your girlfriend, wife, and it's just that is on its own. That's almost like the McGregor story in itself as well. With
Yeah,
his wife, his partner, sort of looking after, sacrifices you're making, and it's tough, mate, to find someone who's happy to make that especially moving to a whole different country away
yeah,
from family and friends and stuff, and on a one-way ticket, man. Like, fair play to you. That takes some guts on its own,
yeah.
doesn't
That
it?
was,
But
yeah.
again, so does Ireland feel like home now to you? Is
Like
it no longer
I
0% anymore? That's basically it.
like I never say that Ireland is my second home. I always say that Ireland is my home. That's why I take with me always the Irish flag, as I take the Portuguese one. And the main factor is, from day one, I never felt a foreign. I never, like, I was from day one supported, treated, and received like an Irishman, you know. And that's one of the things that, and the fact that and it was like a all mix of situation. It was the fact that I was received like that, was the fact that I straight away embraced the culture and identify with the culture. So it was, and like I always say, like, positivity brings positivity things, you know. And all these made my adaptation in the country so much easier, you know. And nowadays I identify myself as Irish and as Portuguese, because that people gave so much to me, you know. And if I am where I am, is because the help that they gave to me, you know. I couldn't do this all alone, you know. And
Yeah,
the
man.
fact is, I of course, there's a lot of people involved, you know, all the way from the very beginning of my journey. But you know, speaking specifically on after the move to Ireland, they did so much to me when they didn't necessarily had to, you know, because I was just another one from another country, you know. And still they didn't see any difference from me, and they brought me into to the group. And like I said, I never felt outside home. I always felt in home. And Ireland is my home, you know. And I don't imagine myself living anywhere else there, you know.
That's it. And I said you're definitely becoming an Irishman. I love your accent, man. You get the odd Irish bit slips
Everyone,
in with the Portuguese one, you know.
yeah, everyone told me that.
Yeah, man.
Like, it
Even at the
started.
press conference, even at the press conference, when you talk on the mic, you sound like you definitely you've been living in Ireland. You have that. I don't know how to put it. It's the McGregor tone or something, and the Gallagher tone. I don't know. It's that way of talking you guys do on the mic,
It's
and
the
it's
Irish
just
thing. It's the Irish thing, you know. And
it's,
yeah, like I don't know. Like, to me, to be honest, to me, I speak the same with the same accent when I moved to Ireland. But everyone, Portuguese, Irish, doesn't matter. Everyone that listens to me speak English, they say the same, you know. And it's normal. Like, I spend every single day with Irish people, you know, born and raised in Ireland with proper Irish accent, you know. So it's I think it's hard to not catch it, you know. And you know, it's the same. I have Brazilian friends, you know. Brazilians speak Portuguese, but
yeah,
it's different accent, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And I can see one of my best mates is Brazilian and is living in Portugal for some years, like, I don't know, 5 6 years. And you can notice on him that he always have some Portuguese from Portugal, Portuguese words and accent, you know. And that's normal, you know. When you live in a place, you start to catch things from their
Yeah.
language and from the culture, and even your posture in to be in life, you know. It's normal. I think it's normal, you know. and uh,
Yeah, man, definitely.
and
There's
and for
definitely
me and for me it's actually a kind of a compliment, you know. So I don't see it as a negative thing.
no. It does well with the Irish and Portuguese flag. You got both accents and both flags perfect, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes,
Because I've got
100%.
I've got quite a few Portuguese friends, a couple from Madeira as well. And obviously, when I talk to you, my friend's actually got a beard like yourself as well. So it's
Yeah.
actually like talking to him similar. He's not quite as hard as you, but that's the thing, quite as skilled as you, man. But no, as I said, there's definitely worse places to be living in the world. There's the Irish people. When I used to work at the airport, for example, they used to be the best people to deal with. You know, when
They
they're
are.
collecting their car to rent and stuff like that. You know, they're literally the best people to deal with. If there's a queue of people, there's people shouting, but you know, the Irish are like, take your time, we're on holiday, whatever. It's all good. You know, that's
Yeah.
the difference, isn't it, man? I know everyone's not like that, but the ones I dealt with were great. And I said you've got a nice bunch of people. So being such a lovely bunch of people, how was day one in SBG when you walked in there?
So I remember. So I remember my first day. There was in that week that we went to know the place. I remember was that. And I went to the team session. And the team sessions there's only is always at a time that it's not that busy, you know. So we have like our privacy, you know, in on the team sessions. And I don't remember exactly everyone that was there. The only person that actually there was, it was like a kickboxing sparring. I think it was the first session that I did was like a kick, or was the second. No, I think that was the second. The first actually was like a boxing class. Yeah, it was a boxing class. It was like a beginners boxing class. The second was the MMA team with John, and was actually fun because like so I knew that I was about to going to John's class, and like at that time I was like a fan. You know, I was just like I was in the gym. I was like,
John Kavanagh. It's John Kavanagh.
where's John? Where's John? You know, and so like I was seeing everyone in the mat, but I wasn't seeing him. And so I went to the locker room. I went to the toilet. Okay, so I went back, and as I opened the door, like it was like boom. It was just like in front of me. I was like, oh. And then like I straight away presented myself and okay, so we start the training, the kickboxing training, and I remember that I sparred. I don't remember the rest. I just remember one guy that is Daniel Scatizzi. I sparred with him. I remember. I remember that I did with him, but I don't remember who else was there. But I remember I did with him. And then on the end of the session, and I talked with John. I went to John. I spoke. Hey, I'm Pedro Carvalho. I'm 20 years old. 2021. I don't remember exactly my age at the time. I come from Portugal, and the resume was pretty much, and I'm here to be the best in the world, and I will be the best in the world. And was fun because every time I said this, even people that supported me, you feel that a natural, like I don't criticize it. I always felt my whole life when I said that I will be the best in the world, even people that will support me, you can feel that they are not 100%
Yeah.
trusting on their idea, because it's hard to imagine someone from a small place like mine saying that it will be the best in the world and believing in that. It's hard to do it, you know. And I was always used to have that little doubt look, even it's like not intentional, like with in a bad way, but it's normal. And for the first time, and especially I had like a coach of the first champ that was like like was like on the 2 days difference, like Connor just had become the champ, and this week that I went to Ireland was like 2 or 3 weeks after that happened. And John was just looking at me, and I remember looking at him, and by 1 second I didn't, at least I didn't notice any doubt from him, and that's one of the things that made me think, man, I really am in the right place. I remember to speak with him, and I also remember to speak. He asked me my record, and he asked me my age, and I said my age, and I remember he said me, "You are still a baby," and and yeah, then I said that I am still looking for a place and stuff, but then I in the soon I will get in touch. And yeah, that was my first proper SVG experience.
Quality, mate. I bet that was just. I would have been absolutely starstruck. Sorry, by all the names everywhere and Kavanagh being there and stuff like that, mate. But mate, what a perfect gym to walk into. And some people take a while to find the perfect gym for them. And it must be an absolute blessing that you managed to walk into one. And it's not as if you had much choice. What you could do, move country again. So this was it, really, wasn't it for you?
No, like yeah, that was it. And the thing is, I always was, I'm loyal, to everyone, to people. If you help me, like I'll be loyal, and I never was like really in the thing of, or like, for me, your team is your family. So the fact that I was moving to other country and changing team, that was it. That was like, there's no changing again if things don't go well. That's it. You change. I was changing team. I was changing family. And that's it. Or is this, or is nothing. And like for me, there's no, like, I think we'll see the loyal thing. Because your team is like your family, because they are helping your dream.
Yeah.
So Yeah, of course, I won't say that people that like to change camps and teams they are wrong. I won't say that. Each one has his own personal view, and it's fine with me. But for me, for myself, like my team is my family, and that was my new family, and I that never occurred in my head that if they go wrong, I change it. No, I choose SPG to be my family, so I'll go all the way to the end with them, bad or wrong. Doesn't matter.
And look where they've
Because
yeah.
you,
And look
you
where they've
know
got you, man. Yeah, look where you've got yourself, obviously with your skills, and look where they've got you with the help assisting as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that was the thing. And besides, going bad never occurred me to me. It never even passed in my head like, what if? No, I never lived like that. I never live my life thinking about the ifs or the buts, especially the buts. Not the buts, the chicks.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
The buts. Because worse than the ifs is the buts. Because the buts means that you didn't do something, and now it's too late to you to do, and now you just like but. So I never really. That was two words that never passed in my mind. There's two words that doesn't exist in my mind. So when I was going to SVG and I moved to Ireland, I had like zero, views of what's gonna happen. I didn't know what's gonna happen, especially as I was just starting from zero in a new place. But in my mind was like, doesn't matter how this will work. I will make this work, and I remember to say to everyone, the only thing that I need is half chance. That's what I need, and that's what I got. And because of that half chance, that I remember, it all started with one fight deal with Bellator in Bellator 200. With that half, chance, I am where I am. I made and a half chance, the beginnings of greatness.
That's it, mate. We didn't start your Bellator career too. I said against the easiest person either. Daniel Crawford was 10-1 at
Yeah.
the time, so yeah, but still made it through, and that's the most important thing. Man, thank you for telling me about how you came over, man. It's really interesting and how it came around, because these are things not everyone knows, and no, it's
Yeah.
good to hear it. Just want to quickly go back to, obviously, when we were talking about Pitbull a second ago, your fight coming up. Did it surprise you, or did you feel honoured that he actually chose you over the person who was actually calling him out, to fight in this? Like, were you thinking, you want to fight me? Fantastic. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, to be honest, I never really think about it, because there's so many ways to look at it. And the main thing that people always ask me during this camp was, do you think he's underestimated you, this and that? Like, to be honest, I don't care. The only thing that I cared is that it's me. I'm there. I got the shot to fight for the belt. That's what really matters to me. I know, like I knew when I was going to become world champion, but I know by contract that I will become world champion. He
Sure.
has nowhere to run. But yeah, there's a lot of factors there, and the main one that I believe why he picked me was, because he wants to start this field with SVG to promote his gym. I
Mm.
think that, and he looked at our side of the bracket. He had, he had Caldwell and me, and he had other two guys that he beat in 3 fights. In 3 fights, he beat both. Faisal 2 times and Sanchez one. So he was looking at the bracket, and he's a small guy, and he was like, I'm gonna, start this field with SVG. I'll beat this guy easily, and this will be a big promotion to my gym. And I have two other guys that I already beat. So I think that was like his main way of thinking, going to that choice. But like I said, like I never really wasted time in thinking about that, and I don't really care. The only thing that
That's
I
it.
care, the only thing that I care is I'm gonna be there. It doesn't matter what people think. What people think that he will beat me easy or this or that. That's a thing that I carry my whole life. Almost every time I went to a fight, people overlooking at me. So this is not the first time that I'm the underdog, and this won't be the first time that I will upset people. So I'm fine with it. I'm just fine with it. It's
Yeah,
just
they'll be very
another day in the office.
That's it, man. They'd be very wrong to underestimate you, man, especially with what you've done against legends of the sport already in Bellator. And it's not as if you've been given nice, easy fights all the way through. So I know in the press conference says, I want to fight you because you're tough. Maybe it's because he wanted a little bit more of a break until the fight. I don't know. There could have been lots of reasons for it, you know. But again, he chose you, and that's the most important thing. And you get to fight for the title. Happy days. It's like Christmas
No,
come early, man.
yeah, by fact, yeah, by fact, I knew when I had to pick, I had January and March. So January was the only date that I always said that it was off to me because I didn't want to fight after Christmas. I didn't want to I don't want to spend Christmas on diet. You know, for me,
Yeah.
like I take Christmas real serious. For me, Christmas is that only time of the year where I can kind of relax and give proper attention to my family. You know, because I'm always 100% focused on this. You know, MMA takes so much out of me. You know, and there's the only time where I can kind of relax. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to give up on that. So I had January and March, and during the fight week I was like I see everything, you know, and I was watching some interviews of Patricio, and he said that someone asked him what he was thinking if he goes through Arculeta, what was his plan, and he said like probably February or March because he want time to rest. He's gonna have a baby and this and that. So I knew straight away that he will pick a late date. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna pick against Cal because especially Cal is a former champion, so he's a good guy to beat to prove again that I'm the best, you know. And who knows? So I put myself there, and it works for me, you know. That's because it's meant to be. Like I said, maybe a world champion is just meant to be. That's it.
That's it, mate. I love the attitude. I love the positivity, mate. And as I said, it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
very, he's going to be very surprised, especially you've got the height difference and all sorts of things as well. And we can see when you two squared off, and there was no fear in your eyes. Let's put it that way. When you were looking at him and when you took your glasses off, I got scared just watching the bloody video. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, you sure you want to fight him? Because obviously he was a bit busted up, wasn't he, Pitbull at the
Yeah.
time? Do you know what I mean? And it was just, it was interesting to see. But again, he's a double champ. He's a. Do you want the other title off him, or is that a bit too much cutting?
No,
Go get
no,
the
you're
other one off
fine.
him.
No, he deserves. You know, no, I'm not that guy only because he's my opponent. That I know to recognize. You know, if a guy has merit, he has merit, and there's no other person in Bellator that deserves more credit than him. You know, is double champ. He has I think the highest number of defenses. He's the biggest name in the organization and deserves that. And after I beat him, he will still be that guy. I don't want it to steal that from that, and I won't. You know, after I beat him, he still will be one of the greatest in featherweight division in all organizations and the biggest face that Bellator, you know, ever had. The difference is that we are at a new time, at a new age, and that age is the Carvalho age. And doesn't matter what people say, what people do, nothing will change. Nothing will stop this train, you know. And that's what I want to prove and show. And I don't want to steal nothing from anyone. The only thing that I want to steal is that shining belt and bring his head home.
I can see a McGregor Aldo situation again. Aldo being the best of all time, and then all of a sudden, 12 seconds later, bang! You know, but you never know.
You know,
You do like.
people should already know that in this game you cannot, you know, there's no underdog. There's no such thing about that, you know. So people should already know that.
Do you think, do you like the the whole format of the Grand Prix as well? Like it's quite old school from the Pride days, but the format of a Grand Prix. Do you find, it brings out more in a fighter when they fight in a Grand Prix, knowing they're in a semi-final or a final and things like that?
Absolutely, I absolutely love the because like I'm a new school guy, but I'm old fashioned, you know. I'm a fighter. I'm not an athlete. I become an athlete so I can become a better fighter. You know, I'm a fighter. I'm a natural born fighter. You know, and that's what difference makes me because the most, not everyone, but most of the guys that I see that are athletes, you know, they are like 80% athletes and 20% fighters. You know, they are not. You know, I'm like 90% fighter and 10% athlete. You know, I
Yeah,
just become like I become the best athlete that I can be because I just love too much to be a fighter and fighting. You know, and And the tournament is just like a pure fighter, experience thing, and the thing that I love the most is like once you sign, there's no way back.
That's it.
Once these like so-called top guys that everyone say they will be these, or they are the top guys, they will gonna make all the way through, and I'll say fine, they are signed, they cannot run,
Yeah.
and that's just give me a chance in only in one run. I will beat the toughest division in Bellator. For the featherweight division, in only one run, I will prove that I'm the best in the world. So I'm just happy because it just spared me time. I just save time with this whole tournament in proving that I'm the best in the world and cement my name in that and start my walk, for what I want. I will start my walk to immortality, to be considered one of the greatest of all time. But still I have a long way to achieve that, and but beating these old guys and become the winner of this tournament will be a very good first step.
Yeah, man. Get a win over him, and then AJ McKee. It's AJ. Yeah, I think it's AJ. Yeah, and then that'd be a great fight as well. You and him, and $1 million won't hurt either, will it? To be fair.
No, Zivet, especially not with my little boy, and yeah, that's a good thing, but that's and I said this before, that's you see the big difference if you scroll down in Instagram in all the participants, you see all of them talking about the million for the very first time the participants were announced. The only thing that you saw me saying from like the summer of last year was and the new hashtag and the
Yeah,
new
man.
hashtag and the new, and that's a different focus, because money, you can get money if you keep beating people. You will receive money no matter what. Of course it won't be a million per fight, but you will make money,
Yeah, of
money.
course.
If you are a hard worker, you will make money. Money is not that hard to get it. But money is easy to come and is easy to go.
Yeah.
Legacy is forever, and
Yes.
that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a legacy. I'm looking, like I've said, to become immortal, to be an icon of the sport, and that's something that money cannot pay, and that's what I say. These guys think that they want some, but they don't really know what it means to want some, but like I said, when they realize that, it's too late.
So, man, you'll be the one with the shiny belt and $1 million, and that's because you had the
Yes.
correct mentality, man. And he said it's
Yes.
nice. And what a great thing. How many years you've been over here now? What was it, about 5 years you've been over here now? And imagine that. Would you think 5 years ago that you'd be sitting with a belt and $1 million? I'm not trying to. Do you know what I mean? Like that. This is what it's all about, man. The dream is paving its way out
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, like of course the $1 million never was a thing that I I never
Wasn't
dreamed to.
important.
Yeah, I never imagined myself in a format like a tournament, but being world champion, that was a thing that I always
Yeah.
trained for, and but even the main thing is not like I didn't start this thing to become Bellator world champion. I start is to be the best, because a lot of times there's guys that are way better than the actual champion of some organization, and they are not the champion. My main thing is be the champion, be known by the champion, and be remembered by the champion, and because there's also a lot of guys that were Bellator champions, UFC champions, and no one remembers them.
No.
Nobody even knows that once they were champions. And that's almost as like that has the same significant as not being champion. What is the word of being once champion, but nobody knows that you were in the past champion? That's the same as you being a forever contest that never become champion. That's the same. The only difference is like you have the shining belt in your home that you can brag that you won once, but you never were able to defend, for example. So build a legacy. That's something that you cannot pay, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a legacy, and I know uh, after the legacy, the money will come naturally, So I'm not worried about the money because I come for a poor background, so everything that comes, it's bonus for me. I already fought for free on the beginning of my career, so like I said, I'm here for legacy, not for money. But the money will come, and the money is also a good thing.
Yeah, of course, man. But you're right. It's getting that legacy in place. It's another very similar attitude of most fighters in SBG as well. Obviously, I know you brought that before you went there, and mate, keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path, and there's no reason why you're going to continue to stay undefeated and then retire a Bellator champion, mate. Happy days. That's the plan.
Yes, yes. So the plan, like I say, is become immortal. So step by step, I'll get there.
Nice, mate. I can't wait to see it happen. And I just want to first say thanks again, mate, for giving me your time to have a chat today, mate. It's been fantastic hearing about how you got to SBG, the correct mentalities you have, and it's interesting. I'm sure a lot of people have heard stuff they've never known about you before either, mate. So thank you for sharing that with us, fella. But
No, yeah, absolutely my pleasure.
and before I let you go, do you just want to give a quick shout out to, if you haven't already, obviously, anyone who's helped you get to where you are today, where people can follow you, and any sponsors at all, sir?
Yeah, yeah, people can follow me in Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Pedro Carvalho MMA. And I just want to and shout out everyone that is just behind me all the way, and supports me and identify, what I represent. That's a really bad thing. That's one of the things that makes me the proudest. Is seeing people here in Portugal that not only they support me because I'm Portuguese, but they identify themselves with what I say and with what I defend, as a person and as an athlete, and that's really important to me because, it's not only the fact of going out there and win. It's great, but you have to bring something else outside. You have to give something to the people, and the fact that people identify and support me, and I'm really proud of that, and I just want to thank everyone that supports me, and pretty much everyone that is around me. I'm not on this alone. I am what I am because I have people around me to support me, even if it's only like giving a word of support of support me, like to help me technically, on trainings, teammates, coaches, and family support. This is not an alone process. This is a process with like a team process. And I'm really grateful in having everyone that is around me. I'm just grateful for having them around me.
That's it, man. I love it. And let's just hope this coronavirus ends soon so we can finally crown the first ever Portuguese champion, if I remember right,
We
in this level
will,
of MMA.
we do that. With this whole thing over, we will have the first Portuguese major world champion for sure, 100%.
That's it, mate. And again, thank you very much. And obviously, stay safe, mate. And let's hope we can get back out there soon.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for having me.
No worries, Pedro. I can't wait to see your fight, fella. Thank you very much.
Thank you.